Is there more information about the birth of Jesus that is not contained in the Bible? What was the mysterious light in the sky on the first Christmas? Where did the Holy Family go to escape the death warrant of King Herod? Are there special places where people are still touched by the incredible power of the Holy Family? Tonight, we will uncover the miracle of the first Christmas.
The discoveries of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Gnostic Gospels in 1947 were amazing archaeological finds. But these clues into Jesus' time were also seen as a sign that after the horrors of the war, it was time for a healing. During that same year, the Jewish people, who had just suffered through the Holocaust, were finally able to return to their homeland, the newly formed state of Israel. They had to fight a war to keep their new land. But miraculously, the fledgling country survived. Many think it was a miracle. In fact, that region has a long history of miracles, beginning with the virgin birth of Jesus and continuing as his family trekked to Egypt across the brutal conditions encountered in the Sinai. The desert was very hot, draining the Holy Family's strength and making them hunger and thirst. So often the miracles that occurred on their journey were simply the provision of food and water. But the miracles did not end there. People all along the route of the Holy Family's flight have reported that their incredible power affects them to this day. In Wadi Natrum, the Holy Family's visit so inspired the people that it became a building place for early Christian monasteries, some of which survive to this day. Having grown up in Wadi Natrum, a general found that his faith and the presence of the Holy Family protected him in battle. Pinned down by enemy fire, he was forced to order a retreat. Amazingly, he escaped with only minor injuries. Over the course of 3 days, he was completely healed by the power of the Holy Family. But the Holy Family's journey did not end there, and neither did the miracles.
The birth of Jesus initiated a series of events that would culminate in a new religion that would touch millions.
In 10 minutes, we saw a lifetime of hard work burn to ashes.
I felt helpless just standing there, watching the firemen fight a losing battle. But there was nothing anyone could do. Our business was lost.
They told us it started in the back room. What does it matter where the fire started? All I can see is what the fire ended.
I was starting to lose faith.
We had been through many difficulties in our marriage, but watching our life's work burn to the ground hit us hard.
Father Sherwood told us to meet him at the church. It's just been a very difficult time.
When I heard about the fire, I said a little prayer for you. We took up a special collection. I know it's not much, but we wanted you to know you're in our hearts.
Thank you, Father. It helps to know that people are thinking of us.
I know we'll get through this. It's just difficult right now.
Come with me. This was donated many years ago to the church by my grandmother. It used to hang in my grandmother's bedroom. When she was sick, it brought her great comfort. I'm going to lend it to you. Perhaps it'll make this difficult time easier.
Thank you, Father.
It had been a week since the fire. Emotionally, we were feeling better, but financially, things were a mess. Your brother called. He wanted to know if there's anything they can do.
What did you tell them?
I just told them to say a prayer for us and that if we needed anything, we'd give them a call.
My cousin said they may need help at the store, but it's the night shift. I should call them soon. The position could be filled.
I was at the laundry today. I saw a help wanted sign in the window. Maybe I should start there.
I feel like such a failure. Everything we've worked for is gone, and now my wife is going to be doing someone else's laundry.
I told Father Sherwood about the picture and what my wife and I had experienced. He told me to bring the picture back to him.
You know, when my grandmother was sick, she told me the Virgin had visited her. I think we should place this painting in a special shrine.
Why do you think she came to us, Father?
Perhaps she felt you were losing your faith. She knew this was a difficult time for both of you.
I'm glad it will be hanging in the church. This way everyone can share in its wonderment.
Father returned the picture to us, and 2 weeks later, we got the letter.
Oh my gosh. I don't believe it. Come quick.
What is it? What's wrong?
Remember that investment certificate we had? It finally matured.
Let me see it.
It's not enough to reopen the business, but at least it's a healthy start.
The miracle brought a sense of peace into our home and the strength to rebuild our lives.
Today, most of us take for granted life's simple necessities such as food, water, and shelter. But for the Holy Family, the harsh desert conditions made these simple needs as precious as life itself. So, many times the miracle the Holy Family prayed for was simply water and shelter from the unending heat. The journey from Mustarod to Matariah takes less than an hour using modern transportation. By foot, it is more than a day's journey. So when the Holy Family reached their next destination, they were hungry, tired, and thirsty. 2,000 years ago, this site was little more than scenery. Here, the Holy Family stopped to rest under the shade of this tree and to eat of its fruit. The need for water overwhelmed the travelers. Realizing his family was in need, Jesus did what his father had done in Mustarod. He struck the earth with a branch from the tree. Once again, the earth yielded a spring. Mary was overjoyed and wished that Matariah would be forever blessed. For over 2,000 years, this tree has been kept alive and the well flowing. As the virgin tree grows, so does the faith of the people who believe in the miracle of the first Christmas. Miracles that can be found in this place branch out and touch the lives of all who live in its shadow.
I had been working for the old man for 5 long years. He was cold-hearted, ran his business with an iron fist. But after the miracle touched his heart, he was a changed man.
Oh, not again. Oh. Those darn bells. How can I get any work done?
You know, I like those bells. They remind me of when I was a boy and my father and I used to walk to church.
Church, church, church. You people waste time in church. You could be working and earning money instead of praying about it.
You know, you should come to service with me this morning. I think you'll change your mind.
Look, who said you could go to church? We have to have this inventory done by 3 o'clock.
You said I only had to come in for 1 hour today. And plus my wife and my little boy are waiting for me at church.
Oh, fine. Go to church. But if you do, you better pray for a new job.
Hey, come on, you don't mean that.
Look, I'm tired of wasting time with foolish people who believe in something that doesn't exist. Now get back to work.
How can I work for somebody who's going to stand in between a man and his faith? You know, I'm sorry, but I'm leaving, and if you want to fire me, go ahead.
Romero,
Yes?
you're fired.
I see many empty seats here today, but we shouldn't despair. We should reach out to those poor souls and show them compassion and understanding. It's not for us to judge them, lest we be judged ourselves. Remember, we mustn't forget those who have lost their faith, for those are the ones that need our help the most. And now let us take a moment to reflect on those who are lost. Let the church bells ring so that they may find their way to us.
You people are driving me mad with your constant bells. Do you like this? Do you like this?
Listen, let's all calm down and talk about this rationally.
I'm tired of talking. You people make me sick. Every Sunday is the same thing. You disrupt my business, you block the entrance to my store with your after-church chatter, and your bells with their constant ringing. I am so angry. Don't be surprised if you come in next Sunday and find your church burned to the ground.
You don't mean that.
Oh, why is everybody trying to tell me what I mean and what I don't mean? All of you, just leave me alone. What? Who's there? Who's there? Go away! I'm an old man! I don't have anything you want! Who are you?
He told us a lady came to visit him and said to him, "You were on the wrong path. You must change or suffer the fires of hell." I don't know what she showed him that night, but after that, every Sunday, he was the first one in church, and he himself rang the bells.
There are sacred sites all along the path of the Holy Family, monuments built to forever remind people of miraculous events which took place. What is most remarkable about traveling to these places is the extent of the faith expressed by the people who make these pilgrimages. No matter what religion or denomination, it is undeniable that the first Christmas set off an extraordinary chain of events that has touched millions and continues to demonstrate its spiritual strength. The real testimony to the force behind these structures is the faith of the devotees. And perhaps the site that best illustrates the power of faith and prayer is a church in Zaytun, Egypt. This church not only serves the immediate community, but is a source of inspiration for countless others who enter these doors. In 1968, the world erupted in violence. International headlines concerned with student riots, assassinations, and war failed to notice what many describe as a miracle. On April the 2nd, Muslim workers at a local garage noticed a disturbance in the street. They ran to the front of the church and noticed what appeared to be a young woman walking on the dome. At first, they were concerned she would fall. Then they realized that it was humanly impossible to walk on the dome. It was then that they recognized the figure as an apparition.
It started with a rumor, actually, that, the Virgin Mary is appearing on top of the dome of the church in Zaytun. I went to probably the church when I was a kid, 8, 9 years old, like I mentioned, probably anywhere between 6 to about 8 times. My dad took me to the church because he kind of needed some sort of a solid proof. After a lot of hours standing in the yard of the church, that I was able to get a view of that white shaded ghost appearance of the Virgin Mary on the dome of the church. Probably we were there for something like about the day for about 4 hours, and when we were about to give up, we were tired from standing, and it was kind of like a nippy night, a little bit chilly. There's a lot of excitement in the air, and usually, before you know it, everybody's quiet, and before you know it, we started seeing the almost a half way of a person, almost all the way down to the stomach area, the face, the chest of the Virgin Mary, all covered in white. It absolutely does reaffirm my belief. It's firsthand, you've seen it, I was a kid, and it did have an impact on me, all through my life until today.
But a person did not have to witness the apparitions to be touched by the powers of the Holy Family. It seems that when ordinary people need their help, it arrives. In all likelihood, the Holy Family was heading to ancient Cairo. There they could safely rest, free from the fear of Herod's threat. After finally reaching a safe destination in the Jewish quarter, the Holy Family entered a Roman temple. The mere presence of Jesus in the temple caused idols to fall. This angered the local magistrate. The family fled through the ancient streets in search of safety. Here under the church of St. Sergius, the family hid in a cave. When the magistrate found the Holy Family, the power emanating from Jesus and his parents stopped the official, turning his anger into admiration, thus fulfilling the Old Testament prophecy. St. Sergius Church has become a Mecca for the faithful. Every prayer made here seems to celebrate the miraculous capacity Jesus had to convert anger into love, despair into hope, and fear into courage. The Holy Family embraced their extraordinary situation, and by doing so, gained miraculous powers. We found numerous accounts where these miracles have occurred with the people who live along this path.
Many miracles took place in the town where I grew up. I never expected to experience one myself. It was during the heat of battle that I believe God stepped in and saved my life.
I need 2 volunteers to go on ahead and clear the area so our troops can move forward. Let me go, sir. Fine. You go with it. Yeah. Keep low, keep low. I got you. Hey, if we keep to the right, we should be able to avoid the mines. Just keep on, follow me.
Don't worry about me. I'll be right behind you.
That was close. Let's keep going. You okay? Luke! Luke! You okay?
Okay? I think I just got the wind knocked out of me. Oh, what's wrong? It hurts.
You're gonna be all right. Doesn't look that bad.
I can't feel my legs.
Come on. Get up. Get out of here. Just hang on, Luke. Hang on. Hang on, buddy. Hang on, Luke. Hang on.
It's beautiful.
Hang on. Luke! 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 Worried about my mother. There's no one to take care of her.
I'll have one of the brothers check on her.
I'm scared, Father.
I know, Matthew. But I'd be worried if you weren't afraid. I can't think of anybody I'd rather have to defend our country than you.
Thanks for your kind words, Father. I really needed to hear them.
You'll be a great soldier. Your family will be proud of you.
Keep me in your prayers, Father.
I bought this for you. Take it. It'll give you strength.
Hey! Hey! We have an injured man here!
Doctor, I think he's waking up. Well, you gave us quite a scare.
Where am I?
You're in the medical tent? You've been unconscious about 2 days.
Luke.
Doctor, you better get in here quick.
Luke. What about Luke? How did I get here?
You were shot.
Am I okay?
You're gonna be fine, but it was a very close call, Matthew.
What do you mean?
Let me show you something. This is what saved your life, young man.
The Bible had been given to me by Father Barrow. The bullet which would have hit my heart was stopped by the Bible. The bullet came to rest on this passage. And who is he that will harm you, if ye be followers of that which is good? And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled.
The river Nile that flows through Egypt is its life force. Without it, the fertile lands that line its banks would be nothing more than a barren desert. So it is no wonder that the Holy Family would choose its nurturing waters for their journey back to Palestine. Mahdi, a city divided by the Nile, reflects the diversity of Egypt itself. A modern city developed on the eastern bank, while across the river to the west, time seems to have stood still. The lush agricultural lands are still tended to by hand. Mahdi is the place where the Holy Family stayed before they set sail up the Nile for their return to Nazareth. All that remains as evidence of their stay is a set of steps that leads to the Nile. It was here, after receiving a message from an angel, that the Holy Family boarded a felucca, or sailboat, that would carry them north. The church which safeguards these steps is a source of inspiration and a symbol of hope for its parishioners. Many have found solace and strength for their struggles, knowing the Holy Family graced this area with their presence and fulfilled the Old Testament prophecy. Even though their stay was short, the examples of love, faith, devotion, and compassion which the Holy Family set have been a guiding force for many in this area. And once again, the extraordinary power of the Holy Family interceded when a devastating accident put this family's faith to the test. Delilah and her husband lived in a modest home with their daughter, Angélie. The incident that occurred filled Delilah with guilt. But she learned that faith can indeed heal all wounds. It was a family tradition that all the women in the family learned to sew. Delilah was passing this tradition on to her daughter, teaching Angélie the fundamentals of hand sewing.
You want to cut all the fabric first.
But Angélie wanted to learn how to use the sewing machine.
We sewed everything by hand.
I want to try.
Why don't you practice first with the needle and thread?
Delilah reminded her daughter that she had to learn the basics before she moved on to the machine.
But I want to help you make clothes to sell, then we won't be playing more.
Delilah left Angélie to finish her sewing while she left to prepare dinner.
Keep putting the needle in that way. That's it. You finish this seam and I'll go start dinner.
Wanting to help her mother, Angélie tried to teach herself how to use the sewing machine. She tried to force the fabric through the sewing machine.
I'll be right up, Angeli.
But when she heard her mother's voice, Angeli panicked.
I never should have left her alone.
That is when the accident happened.
By the time I heard her scream, it was too late. What happened?
Angeli went through 2 surgeries to remove the needle fragments. Both were unsuccessful.
The infection has spread. I'm afraid
The doctor explained the fragments would make their way to Angeli's heart, killing her.
if they enter her heart, it would be fatal.
Their only alternative was to amputate Angeli's hand.
She's going to lose her hand.
Delilah's worst fears were confirmed. Delilah decided to seek help from the church.
There's nothing more they can do.
She told Sister Borden about Angeli's situation.
You mustn't give up. But I'm worried I won't be able to pray.
Delilah and Sister Borden were touched by Angeli's fear.
Sweet.
Sister assured her that all prayers were heard, no matter what.
How could this happen? She's just a child. This is all my fault.
No, you cannot blame yourself. I know you. You're a good mother.
Don't cry, Mommy.
The nun tried to give them hope and comfort.
I could tell Angeli was in a lot of pain. I was terrified for her, but I didn't want to let her see that I was afraid. I couldn't believe it. Tomorrow, Angeli was going to lose her hand.
Is it going to hurt?
Like any child, Angeli had questions about the surgery that was to happen the next day. She wanted to know if it would hurt and how long the operation would take.
You get some rest now. That very night, the miracle happened.
While Angeli was sleeping, she awoke to find herself bathed in a bright light. The child showed no fear. She leaned into the warm light and then held out her injured hand. The next morning, Delilah brought Angeli breakfast.
Breakfast!
My hand feels all better.
She told her mother that a bright light came into her room. Delilah thought it was just Angeli's childish imagination.
That's nice, but we still have to go see the doctor.
She knew that the miraculous light that shone on her daughter was the miracle she had prayed for.
By piecing together ancient writings, we have been able to reconstruct the Holy Family's journey through Egypt. A miraculous presence endures with the people who live along this path. People who are living proof that miracles still happen through divine power.
Each year we honor the miracle of the first Christmas throughout the world. But what are the traditions that we celebrate 2,000 years after that event?
What's interesting in the way we celebrate Christmas today, a lot of travel is involved around Christmas time. Everybody's moving everywhere else. Well, the same thing was true of the very first Christmas. The Holy Family moved from Nazareth on a trip 6, 7, 8 days long, and Jesus is born in Bethlehem. They're there at least 40, 45 days minimum, and then comes the flight to Egypt, and went back to Nazareth, from which they had set forth. So now they have come full circle. The travel was certainly associated also with the very first Christmas.
Our gift-giving tradition reflects the generosity that began with a visit by the 3 wise men. The lights that decorate houses remind us of the Star of Bethlehem that guided the Magi to their destination. Christmas celebrates the unconditional love that families provide. But it is important to remember the significance of the first Christmas before we get caught up in the frenzy of the holiday season.
The Nativity is so terribly important, not because of the Nativity alone, but because of who this baby would become. This is the baby that would later on become Jesus of Nazareth, the luminous individual whose career has changed all of human history.
The significance of Christmas, I think, is important to keep in a balanced perspective. We must never sentimentalize the birth of Jesus so much that we neglect that salvation and liberation came to us through Jesus at great cost and at great suffering, and that the message of Easter is essential for the message of Christmas.
As we have seen, the miracle of the first Christmas set in motion events that changed the world. And as we traveled on the path the Holy Family took, we revisited the places and miracles associated with the birth of Jesus.
From Nazareth to Bethlehem, to Egypt and back, our journey has been filled with discoveries and miracles. But none of this could have occurred without the miraculous beginning that was the first Christmas. I'm Roger Moore. Thank you for joining us.